Deven, if you're an investor watching what's been happening to the Adani Group shares, what should you do right now?
So I'm invested into Adani Group of shares. That's a disclaimer from my side, and along with our fund and investors also. However, I think I would like to say that I think I would look at the company from the merits point of view. I think in my 30 plus years of understanding on the businesses, I have understood one thing, that the short-term volatility is at best, I think, lived for a shorter period of time. From the long-term point of view, if you are convinced with the fundamentals of the business, I think they definitely pay off. And I believe that I think that's the right way to do as far as investment is concerned. Since I'm not a trader, so I don't take short-term view anyway. I think I take a long-term view on the subject. And I believe the story remains completely intact as far as the company is concerned. Maybe the corrected prices would invite for a few more investors, I think, who are looking at long-term from investment perspective.
Would any further free fall in the shares of the various companies linked to Adani create systemic risk that could ripple through the entire Indian market? And what could be done in future to strengthen the system and prevent such systemic risk?
It's a very good point we have picked up, and I believe that I think this is where probably market regulators will have to act in now. An instrument, derivative instrument, which was created outside the shore of Indian market, I think has been used to hammer the regulated market instruments out here in India. I think that is quite strange, and I think it should not have been done. Probably, I think the regulations on that are required to be tightened, I believe. If that does happen, then in my viewpoint, I think with the tightened regulation, I think such kind of mischief or such kind of attacks would not be created. Remember one thing, that any assets, I think they take longer time to get, hardly any time for somebody to destroy it. And that too, I think with this kind of financial shorting of this kind of opaque instrument, as I call it as, because these instruments are not traded in India, being created outside the Indian market. And what is the amount of hedge that the trader has done? I think that is also not being disclosed. Whereas in the regulated market of India, I think everything gets disclosed. So in the proper way of, I think, keeping the transparency, I believe, I think the systemic risk can be averted by strengthening the